Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In a previous video, I talked about why being a digital nomad sucks. Well, today I want to go and talk about the other side, why it can work for you and why it is an amazing privilege to be a digital nomad and travel around the world. First of all, I don't think being a digital nomad is for everyone. It's a style, it's a lifestyle that can work, but you got to stop treating it like a 6 months vacation, 1 year vacation period, and start treating it like real life. You know, it has the perks, of course, but when you start treating it like real life, like establishing a routine, renting a place which is more than 1 or 2 weeks, if you start treating it like life is anywhere in the world, which is kind of boring sometimes, then it can really work for you. The first thing that helped me was slowing down. Staying longer in one place makes a huge difference. You build routines, you get to know people, and you stop feeling like you're constantly passing through. When you stay in places longer, like 2, 3, 4, 6 months, then you start building your own routine. Even if a lot of it is going to be temporary, you start building it, and it feels a bit more like you are living there in the place rather than just passing through like a tourist. Also, money planning is non-negotiable. Before you move to a new place, you got to do your research very well. A very good website for this is numbeo.com. In this website, you can go search for the place, the city you want to move to, and then compare it to a city you already know well or your hometown, and see how much money you're going to need for daily costs, rent, food. And it's a very accurate website because it's made by people. All the information they have are filled up by people who live there in the country. So, and it's kind of updated every 2, 3, 6 months. So it's a very good resource if you want to check out how much money you're going to need for daily expenses. Also, savings are extremely important. Have your savings somewhere with a card that you can actually withdraw anytime for any emergency that might happen that you never know. So have your savings well. Don't go, and leave your country with a lot of debt and then move to a new country. And last but not least, you got to think long term. When it comes to savings, money, daily costs, that's all very important. But long term, do you have a plan? Do you have a private pension plan? Do you have a retirement plan back home or in another country that you picked up as your base? This is extremely important because we're all getting old. We all want to stop and retire sometime. So it's really important to have this financial planning before you move and decide to be a digital nomad somewhere else. And housing is one of the biggest problems. Trust me, I've had a lot of problems trying to rent a place here in Bogota. I can speak the language and everything, but when you are not working in a place long term, then you got some issues. Of course, if you want to go on Airbnb, you have a lot of money and you just want to spend it, that's extremely easy. You can find a place in a couple of minutes. But if you are intentional about housing and you want to stay not long term, but at least for 3 or 6 months in a place, then that's extremely important for you to first start out by renting Airbnb, getting to know the area, the neighborhoods, talking to people. And then as soon as you know where you want to stay, maybe after a couple of weeks, you can go try it on Airbnb, but then negotiate locally with the landlord. A lot of landlords here do that. That's how I did it for a couple of months, when I got here. But also, one very important thing is to try and find local websites where you can get, local prices for renting. The cost is going to be more closely, connected to what people actually pay here, and not only like Airbnb for foreigners, for example. And when it comes to routine, it's a bit harder when you are a digital nomad. So it's important to create non-negotiable routines. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to your routine? Do you want to focus on having a very healthy lifestyle? Do you want to keep in contact have to have time to be in contact with people back home, with people from other countries? Do you want to have a very active social life? No matter what is your routine, you gotta be non-negotiable about it. Things like fixed working hours, regular exercise, and simple daily habits will give you structure when everything else keeps changing. And if you're traveling alone, you're gonna be a digital nomad alone, then when it comes to relationships, honesty is key. Don't promise what you cannot offer. If you meet someone, a romantic relationship, be honest from day one. Who you are, what are you doing, what is your plan, how long you're planning to stay there. Of course, plans change. I came to Colombia to stay for 3 months. I ended up being here now for over 4 years. So yeah, plans changed, but being honest as soon as you meet the person, either romantic or just friendship, is very important when you are a digital nomad. It's also extremely important to pick the right country for you. Not every digital nomad hotspot is gonna work for you. So it's important, for example, to think of your time zone. If you have a job that is, on one time zone, how far do you want to be from that? Do you want to be waking up in the middle of the night to work? So it's very important to pick your time zone according to the job that you have. Also, it's very important to pick somewhere with the culture that you would like to explore, because some countries are very different from your country, and sometimes that's a lot of struggle that you'll have with few things. Which, for example, when I was in China, it was great, no regrets. But if you want to keep a job and keep your routine and hours, maybe you got to find a place where perhaps it's not on the beach, or perhaps where they have the easy access to the beach. What is your kind of style for the place that you want to live? The cost of living is very important as well. As I said before, I use Numbeo to find the cost of living, find out about the cost of living and stuff, but the cost of living is very important. There are places in the world that I would never go as a digital nomad, because I know with my current salary and the different currencies, it's just not doable. So it's important to find a place where the cost of living suits your current income. And also visa options. Well, since the pandemic, a lot of countries started offering visa options for digital nomads. Now, the big problem there is the income, I'd say. Some countries expect 2.5, 3,000 or even more dollars per month, proof of that. But other countries, they let you go on a visa as a digital nomad visa for as low as 800 euros, $1,000 per month, if you can prove that. And other countries make it easier for you to go there on a digital nomad visa, and you can stay for 6 months, a year, or even longer. So do your research beforehand, because if you get to a country, for example, and then you decide to stay there longer and there are no visa options, then that could be a problem at the end. At the end of the day, this lifestyle is a privilege. Imagine how many people that you have, your friends, your co-workers, who would love to have this lifestyle and cannot because they just need to be in a place. But since the pandemic, there has been a lot of opportunities for 100% remote work and some hybrid, but you could have like remote work and actually live somewhere, live for longer than 2, 3, 6 months. And there, as I said before, there are visa options, there are places with very good cost of living, and there are apps that can help you find midterm rentals that are not that expensive. So it is there. The world is more open than ever for digital nomads, but you got to plan. Like, planning is important. Knowing what you want is important. The cost of living is something that you got to decide in advance so that you don't get to a place and then you cannot afford living there. Visa options are very important when you know where you want to go. Beforehand, check out the visa options. Try to stay a bit long term, be honest about your relationships, and enjoy, because it's a privilege to live in this time of this period that we can actually be a digital nomad and live in many countries around the world. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.